So how did Farmacias Similares turn out? For the entrepreneur, Victor González Torres, he started Farmacias Similares with $2 million for 98% of the company. As a dutiful son, he gave 2% of the company to his mother. Now that company today has revenues in excess of $1 billion, and net income between the stores that it owns directly and the franchises that it has in its network, it has earnings that exceed $100 million. So there is no question how Farmacias Similares turned out for the entrepreneur. But how did it turn out for Mexico? Well, I think first let's go to the pocketbooks of the majority of Mexico that Farmacias Similares serves. I think it's easy to argue that at least 35% discount was obtained by Farmacias Similares against the conventional pharmacies. So if today Farmacias Similares sells $1 billion, it's easy to argue that if it didn't exist, people would have paid $1.5 billion. So that's straight away, in the difference of price, is $500 million into the pockets of low-income Mexicans. But there's another impact on the pocketbook. When people, either you or a loved one, has something that makes them feel not right, and you want access to a primary care doctor, the fact that you don't spend more than 15 minutes versus spending 6 hours, and for most Mexicans, as we discussed, having to not be at their work is losing their wages. And taking into consideration $2 an hour, which would represent average income of working class Mexico, and considering that 3.5 million Mexicans see their doctor a month through Farmacias Similares, you could come up with a calculation of another $500 million. So just taking into account the difference in prices and the difference in time for the low-income sectors of Mexico to access first contact primary health care, you could say that there's been a transfer of $1 billion a year into the pockets of the poor. And that is without taking into consideration the effects on the health of the people from having seen quickly a primary care doctor and having access to medicines. So let me propose to you Farmacias Similares as a case in which the success of a business model is consistent with high impact in terms of society. I think Farmacias Similares is an instance in which high financial returns, which enabled it to scale to a point in which it could move the dial, comes together with the high social impact of massive scale in an intervention that makes a difference in the lives of people.